Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode here, it's going to be a chart update. Um, a little follow-up on, um, I guess, my previous episode of what my bank has done. Anyways, I made a police report basically on the wire transfer fraud that there was a claim of fraud on one of the wire transfers that I've done for local Bitcoins. Already released the coins. It's already been like almost 30 days. So I did call the police and said, hey, I'd like to make a report of maybe possible some crime committed. So at least I have a report. Well, after just talking with the local, well, in my area, it's the sheriff department's responsibility for any law enforcement here. So I explained what I do, and I told him it's I trade bitcoins. So he heard me out, and he said, well, until you've actually lost that money, and until my bank, Wells Fargo, basically will close my account, and the wired money that's in question, that's fraudulent, until that's actually been taken out and you've actually taken a monetary loss on whatever agreed transaction that I have receipts from localbitcoins.com. I don't know if that's gonna help any, but there's a lot of trails to be followed, a lot of evidence, and so he told me basically when that actually happens, when you actually are out that money, we can proceed with doing a report. But until then, I mean, I can't do anything. Okay, and so the other thing I did was I said, well, you know what, I'm gonna do something that I guess maybe because I'm legitimate, I can do. I basically made a call to the FBI. So, and I was like, well, I mean, they're investigating Bitcoin. I'm legitimate. FBI also investigates bank robberies or any kind of wire fraud or cyber crimes and stuff like that domestically. So, this was done in America. The crime, I believe there was some fraudulent activity going on, or even a crime. And the thing that keeping any social order, anything together is basically the enforcement of laws and maintaining some order. Okay, so I don't buy into this anarchy stuff. I just don't. Not because I don't think we can all, be nice to each other or self-rule each yourself or whatever, but I think that if you know the world, if you ever been a victim of a crime, then you know that you know someone's self-rule is different than yours, and it may they may inflict bodily harm, financial harm, whatever. But that's that's if you're a victim. Of course, in the end, I guess we're all victims somehow, one way or another. So, anyways, ironically, let me continue my story. Ironically, I called the FBI like earlier this afternoon. After I called my bank, I'm wondering what's going on with my bank accounts. I mean, as I told you, the banks themselves have told me that they're not reporting me, but they just feel that the risk involved in having me as a customer is not worth it. So, anyways, yeah, I called the FBI and I got an answer. So I said, hey, I know you're investigating bitcoins. Is that correct? And I got a I don't know, whoever on the other side of the phone, whoever that person is, obviously they're like, wow, yeah. And I said, hey, I'm going to report to you. Rose, stop eating my headphones. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyways. So, and basically I was explaining to him, what happened. I got this person who basically is claiming fraud as a way to reverse a wire transaction. And, I think there's some suspicious activity going on. Whatever it is, money laundering, terrorism, funding terrorists and all that. I just said some words that I hope that they do investigate this because, I really want, an investigation done to be, what's really going on here because, I'm the victim. I'm not the perpetrator. But that's all right. I'm all right with it. So, the guy said, well, and let me clue you in on something that I just picked up on. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, there it is. There it is. Wow. So here's a report. Bitcoin execs charged in connection with Silk Road drug site. There's been 2 arrests for money laundering. And I know if you've seen my episode series on, the Bitcoin trade, I discussed money laundering. Since I didn't know exactly what money laundering per se is, but I discussed a lot of things, and I hope a lot of the viewers took note of that. So if you're going to be trading in Bitcoin, these are serious things that you got to look at. This guy may get 11 years in jail. And remember, I mentioned you could get possibly 20 years in jail for money laundering. They're really starting to, the federal government anyway, FBI in particular, are really starting to crack down on money laundering. I think they have a leverage on that. And if anybody's engaged in criminal activity and they're trying to profit from it in whatever money, fiat currency, maybe even in bitcoins now, you could be charged with money laundering. So, and you can't claim stupidity, but if you're like me, which I got a call, I had to call my bank and say, hey, what's going on with my bank accounts? Is there something I should know? Is something you need to tell me? Just get up to them because if you're legitimate, you really don't have anything to worry about. You can call the police, you can call the FBI, you can make a complaint to the FBI if you're legitimate. If you're a criminal and you're engaged in legal activity, you can't do any of that stuff. You're just. And this is why I say, why would you commit crimes if you really knew what Bitcoin was and how it works? Anyways, I did a few episodes on this whole thing, and well, the thing just keeps coming back up again and again. But I hope this is the end of Silk Road. I really feel that this kind of thing is really unnecessary because if people want guns and drugs, they know where to get them. They don't need They don't need Silk Road. I think Silk Road exposes a lot of maybe underage minors, children, and I can't condone anything that exposes innocence to something like this. I don't. So, and I hate people who commit fraud. No, I don't hate them. I'm not really happy that there are people like that. It's just unfortunate considering that you don't need to commit fraud anymore. You can live a life, truthful life. Anyways, I hope it, all this is a message to anybody out there who is now engaged in criminal activity that, stick with U.S. dollars. That's what works for you guys, and that's been working for you guys. Just stick to that. Uh, Leave the Bitcoin to to me. Um, I'll I know what it is and how it works, and I think what I'm doing is perfectly fine and legal in every sense. So this came up. This was about, I don't know what time it was, but I think it was around the time I called the FBI, which is kind of really creepy. I could see why the person who answered the call, when I said, hey, you're investigating Bitcoins, is what I said, right? You investigate Bitcoins. and, and the guy just kind of, maybe he was like, wow, this is freaky. Because he said, yes, like that, like wow, I can't believe I'm getting a call, as I know we're charging two Bitcoin executives with money laundering. Anyways, so he said, hey, go to this website, file a complaint, and I don't know, I don't know anything that will come out of it, because when I had my identity stolen, I filed a complaint with the Attorney General, both on the state level and on the federal level, and nothing. It was like, thank you for complaining to us. And that was it. I mean, it was really strange. And, by the time you're tired. Here, let me cut out, and I'll get right back. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. Baby needs milk. That's why I need to go to the store and get milk. Anyways, I don't know where I was or where I left off, but I think something about these guys getting busted while I'm calling the FBI about possible fraudulent activity, money. Oh yeah. So I'll continue with the story. So basically, I'm pushing a lot of hot buttons here, hoping this guy investigates this thing at the time, which I didn't know that they're probably busting these guys here on this, right? So, I mentioned Bitcoins, I mentioned wire fraud, which is related to money laundering, and I even mentioned, I said, terrorist. They might be funding terrorists. And I'm just hoping that they investigate, what happened to me. I mean, I'm the victim here. So, not that I'm trying to play victim, but when you're legitimate, you can call on the government. You can call on your local authorities. You can call on the police, your FBI. You can call the DEA. What else? Secret Service, etc., whatever. But anyways, so this came up, and the guy's probably like, I don't know, freaking out. But I just want to share that with you right there. So let's go on to the chart analysis. Okay, and a lot of this is going on. I'm kind of curious to see what other things are going on. If there's any more. No, that's it. So. Is that a blow? I don't know. I don't know if that's a blow to Bitcoin or what's going on. So let's take a look at some of the charts here now. And there's Mt. Gox. Okay, I'll even do that to refresh it. There you go, Mt. Gox. And then what's the other one? The other one's Bitstamp. Okay, Bitstamp is right there. Okay, that's the graph right there. And then BitC. Okay, now they're all going down. So, and that's what this is for. So now you're looking at let's see if it focuses. Okay. So now you're looking at they're all turning red. Even Mt. Gox is turning red. Especially the U.S. dollar and the euro. The yen is the only one that's floating, and isn't that strange that Mt. Gox is in Japan and their yen is, well, it's Bitcoin to yen is looking still in the green. what's another one? Oh, localbitcoins.com. This is their average price. I don't know how that works. Is that the last price that someone exchanged at, or if that's just a refresh of the latest price, of the highest price? I'm not sure how that is working, but that's still green. Oh, Mt. Gox Euro is coming back up. So, they didn't, comparative to others, they didn't fall that much. And the spread is getting much wider. Look at the spread on Mt. Gox and Bitstamp. There. So Mt. Gox, 919, I don't know, 789. So there's another 200, 180, about 180. Am I right? It's usually about $100 difference. Now you got $180. If you've seen my episodes, and my theory of Mt. Gox is that they are just collecting money and burning it, forcing people to basically accept Bitcoin. Maybe, I'm not sure. More plausible reason would probably be that that I guess they were at the time maybe working with the FBI regarding money laundering, Silk Road, so that money was never going to be released to any criminal, anybody engaged in money laundering. So that's probably why a lot of people can't take your money out of Mt. Gox. Or the other theory, which is they're burning the money. They're just destroying money and forcing people to accept Bitcoin as a way of life. I don't know. Something to think about. So, okay, there we go. There it goes. Okay. So let's look at the actual chart here. So, all right. So let me back out here to a 6 hour so we can get a better view of what's going on. All right. So a lot of things are happening here. Of course, I've been mentioning this channel that is a downward channel. I also mentioned that now, because of this push up, that there could be an uptrend. But the thing about this uptrend is, remember what I mentioned, is that not only do they have to reach a certain price, break this line, reach a certain price higher than this price, also it has to finish, so which obviously it has not finished above this resistant line here. It's actually fallen, if you notice that. And the other thing is that not only does this price has to go above this price, break this resistant line, but it also has to go above this price as well, which it didn't. And I probably mentioned a breakout scenario. Well, this is the flaw or the weakness of having a breakout trading, is that, well, sometimes there's a lot of false breakouts. And it looks like it's breaking out, and it looks kind of like it is, and so take it for what it's worth. Now the other style of trading, or what people do, is what they call range trading. So basically there's a line here and a line up here, and the price rolls around within that price range, going mostly sideways, kind of like what you've been seeing here. Like it hasn't gone up, it's finished going up, now it's not really going down, and it's staying within a range. So range trading is basically you're trying to figure out where the tops and the bottoms are within a sideways channel, for the most part. So it's similar to another channel trading, but when I say range, it means that it doesn't go up or down. It's just going sideways, up and down, like what you see here. So that's another form of trading, in which, depending on the moves in the market, okay, you really have to take a look. And unfortunately, you don't know this until after a couple ups and downs, and unfortunately by the time you figure that out, it's probably going to break down or break up. But the idea is you buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. Very simple. Alright. So there's another way of trading um, versus a breakout, which you're taking a chance. If it breaks out, it's great on a momentum buy, kind of like it breaks out this and then starts shooting up. These are good strategies and tactics. But then again, you got to really understand how the price action's moving, the channels, everything that I mentioned. So what's going on now is basically you're seeing a breakdown in this breakout, and you see the price is going below this support line. Now it's going below this support line, even below this support line, one of the original support lines here. Now it's falling below that, and I guess you can take a buy position here. Usually another stop is the last lowest price, which would be right here. If you look at the way it moved, the next one would be here. After that, there would be a nice buy price or a support line. Here's another support line, and then eventually whatever the support line is. I've kind of mentioned this already, so you should already know. And as far as another support line is, you can follow this being the last two lows, and somewhat parallel to all the other downtrending lines. So right here can be another, you can follow this line as a support for it to go back up. But then again, like I said, if you know you're on a downtrend, this price may not stop here. It may actually start, this channel may quickly turn to a very downward channel. So my recommendation, what I'm doing right now, if you want to know what I'm doing, is I probably will put a buy. I think I have some other orders around here, around the $700 to $800 range, and there's several reasons for that. And I think I mentioned in my previous episodes. Go ahead, remember guys, watch all the episodes. Okay, trust me. Now watch them all again if you don't understand. But one of the things I'm doing now is I'm taking advantage of the fluctuations in price, and it doesn't matter on what exchange. You could be on Bitstamp, Bitsy, Mt. Gox, doesn't matter. What matters is that you sell high and then you buy in low. That's the only thing that really matters. Any exchange, doesn't matter. So what I do is I'll sell my Bitcoin or exchange my Bitcoin for gift cards. Usually something like a grocery store gift card, something that my wife will use to go and get groceries. We need to eat. And I can't live off of electronic numbers or electronic Bitcoins. I'm sorry, I just can't. I live in the real world and I need food. So anyways, so one of the strategies I'm using, and I mentioned this before, is that you can exchange your Bitcoin for a gift card that you can use. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking a chance by not covering my position. I'm actually selling out of my position, and basically I'm at risk. Remember, I sell into risk and I buy out of risk. Okay, and so as I made a purchase, and it doesn't matter what indices the retailer uses. For the most part, the price action moves the same, because I'll give you an example here. Alright, so here's the price action of Mt. Gox of same period, 12 hours, and then here's the, that's one day, I gotta change that to 12 hours. Alright, so here's the action, price action. Let me see, make sure they're all 12-hour periods. Okay, so here's Mt. Gox, here's Bitstamp, and here's Bitsy. So as far as how they look, I mean, it looks really close, except for Mt. Gox, which still had a little higher push up at the end, but it's reacting. If you look at the way the price is moving, it's pretty much the same. Of course, these are a little bit more flatter, and I think starting to go down. Same thing here, starting to go flat and going down. So, anyways, so it doesn't matter what exchange you're at. My point is, now that more and more retailers are coming on board as accepting Bitcoins, you can use these exchange just like a bank account, but it's not a bank account. It's a trading platform. I mean, you have money, you have Bitcoins. You can purchase Bitcoins and send them out. You can do a lot of things here. So one of the things I'm doing is, since I'm not really interested in US dollars or cashing out or anything like that. I'm really in it to basically maintain the value of I guess your wealth. Now, I'm not saying I'm wealthy. What I'm trying to say is I put real money into these exchanges and into Bitcoin. So I've traded my debt for credit, and I'm expecting that my credit is good in the future, that I can redeem the credit and I can use it. I can do something, and also be able to how can I say this? I'm using my prepayment, my credit, as a leverage to take advantage of the price difference by either selling high and then buying in low, allowing me basically the concept of instantaneously, well, not instantaneously, but my purchasing power here, when it's at a high price up here, is high. So I'm most likely gonna try to buy things at this point, because everything material world in America is all relative to the dollar, US dollar. So when you compare it to the exchange, the Bitcoin is paired with US dollar here. So ideally, the higher the US dollar, the less amount of Bitcoins I am expending to receive a prepaid debt gift card. I guess I'm trying to say what things are by calling them what they are. Okay, I'm not trying to put some fancy spin on it. So it's a prepaid debt card, okay, which is the gift card, and I use less of my Bitcoin to basically exchange for that. And then the concept is basically, when the price drops, you can replace the Bitcoin that you spent right here at a fractional cost, is my point. And then when the price goes up again, you try to buy something, and so the way these prices move may affect your purchasing. Well, it does affect your purchasing power, but it also may affect your purchasing behavior. And so some of the things I do is, whenever I need to buy something, let's go back to Mt. Gox here. Okay, so whenever I need to buy something, I could take two options. Like, I have Bitcoins. If I replace Bitcoins, I'll immediately replace them. And this is usually what you want to do on an uptrend. Like, you gotta eat, you gotta buy food. So you exchange your Bitcoins for whatever gift card, and then if it's on an uptrend, well, I should probably replace or cover my position by buying into more Bitcoins. That way I'm buying out of risk. The other option is on a downtrend. You may selectively go ahead and buy an item or a gift card with your bitcoins, and then have the price go down, and then basically you're going to cover your position, or you're going to replenish your bitcoin. And so you have cash, or you have electronic money in your exchange account. You can wait for the price to drop, buy back in at a cheaper price for Bitcoin. And so essentially what you've done is you've created a spread for yourself. You've created more purchasing power without risking your bitcoins or your money in a way. So that's a different way of looking at things. You would consider this, for me, if I'm looking at it through the lens of purchasing, this is a fluctuation in my purchasing power in Bitcoin relative to US dollar. So I hope this helps you in if you're going to be a long time Bitcoin trader, if you're having Bitcoin become more and more a part of your life, this is probably the best way to go. So other than that, I've already mentioned in my previous episodes that this is probably going to be on a downtrend. If it's already broken down here and now it's trying to come back up again, what I've noticed lately is that it'll break below and then it'll come back and then it'll shoot up. It'll break below a little bit and then come back and then shoot up. It looks like it's doing the same thing here, but I really think it's really starting to turn downwards. We'll see in the future. We'll see if I'm right. So anyways, this concludes this episode. Feel free to leave a message or leave a comment, like or dislike, and video response. Until then, stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.